I had the pleasure of meeting Marla actually through a mutual friend.
Shortly after my former wife had passed on, I spoke with a producer friend of mine who'd been working with Marla. Actually, she was consulting him and advising him on a particular feature film project.
I came for a session, a group session, and I have to say I was kind of skeptical.
When you go to a session like that, you know, everybody's like, oh my God, what if she's going to talk about this or she's going to talk about that?
What are you going to do? And, you know, you're trying to rip me off, or, you know, all those things that we think about.
You sort of let that all go at the front door when you walk in, and you sort of bond with the people that you're going through that experience with. It's like, it's okay if they find out I walk through the house naked all the time. I don't really care.
So about 2 years ago, we were looking for a new home, and we asked Marla to help us because she's really great with structure. 2 days later, she calls and she says, I'm sitting in front of your home. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm sitting in front of your house. It's your house. And she described it, and I thought, okay, this is really great. And she said, this is a perfect house. There's only one compromise. She said, it's the fireplaces. It's going to cost you between $8,000 and $10,000 to fix. We got estimates on how much it would cost to fix it. One estimate came in at
$8,000.
The other one was
$10,000.
And so,
bang on.
Yes, it was bang on, and so that helped us negotiate the price. But it ended up, we're living in that home, and we love it.
When I think of Marla, I think of delight. You know, even in the most profoundly tragic communications.
I love Marla's work so much because she gives valuable information.
One of her biggest gifts I always saw was she could just read someone's body. I mean, they sat down on the couch, she goes, what's going on over here in the hip and what's going on over here in the ear?
Marla's confirmations, her hits, were right after another.
And just to see the reactions on people's faces when Marla had been able to tap into something so personal or something so private.
The first person to come through for me was a friend I had lost to AIDS, and I had lost track of him. And he came through, and I was able through that session, it was so wonderfully particular, specific, I was able to get closure with this person.
It feels as though modern science is inches away from understanding what people like Marla can do. How to detect that frequency or that energy, if you will, how to interact with it the way that she does. We're on the precipice of understanding how this actually works, the mechanics of this. It's quite exciting.
I had a friend and his wife who came to meet with her, and it was very, very interesting because he was the skeptic, and he actually said to me before the meeting, he's like, you don't really buy into any of this stuff. And I said, you know, experience it yourself and then sort of make your own conclusions from that. And they came, and his wife was very much into it. And Marla looked at her immediately and said, you know, you've suffered a miscarriage. And she said, yeah. And then, of course, it becomes instantly emotional, Kleenex going all over the place. And Marla said, well, you have a blood disorder. And until that blood disorder is corrected, you know, you're never going to carry a child. So about 2 weeks go by, and Ron calls me, and he said, you know, I've known you for a very, very long time, and I just want to share this with you because I want you to understand the kind of responsibility that this work brings. My wife went to the doctor. She had the blood test, the blood work done. The test came back. There was absolutely nothing wrong with her blood. And I said, you know, I'm really sorry. I don't know what to say. I believe that what she does is correct and accurate and blows my mind every time I see it. I don't know what could have went wrong, and I'm really sorry. Please apologize to your wife, and I'm sorry if this caused any drama in your personal lives. 6 months went by, and I'll never forget this day. I get a phone call from him, and his voice is trembling on the other line, and I said, what's the matter? And he said, I'm first calling to apologize to you. And I said, why would you? We've been friends 20 years, you don't need to apologize. He said, they discovered a blood-borne disease in my wife's system, and it was there all along. They missed it in the other tests. They've corrected it, and she's now pregnant with our first child. And that, to me, was probably one of the most paramount moments in all the work I saw Marla do.
And I think one of the really special things with Marla, or at least for me, is that she's opened up a whole avenue for me to start and look at my awareness with intuition again, and trusting that it is there.
Marla was very instrumental in helping me get out of a very destructive relationship.
She absolutely pushes us in her way.
I just remember that it was like, get out. And she asked me, what are you looking for? Dating all of these people that aren't right for me. What are you looking for? And I said to her, I'm getting older, single. I really want to be in a relationship. And I just want a normal life. I'm just looking for normalcy. And Marla said, looking for normalcy is the most depressing thing I have ever heard. She said, you should be looking for extraordinary. And then she said, who's Martin? And I said, well, he's a man that I met at a party a few years ago. She said, that's what you should be looking for. So I got in contact with Martin, and and we're celebrating our first anniversary next month. So.
Wedding anniversary.
Oh yeah, our first wedding anniversary.
So many of the people I know that have worked with Marla and had psychic sessions find that this work cuts through all of the noise of their lives and provides a clarifying and grounding perspective that they would have never gotten otherwise.
I think she allows herself to be sensitive also. So many of us are sensitive but refuse the call, so to speak. But I think she's very courageous to be open, because it's not always pleasant, you know.
Marla's hits, if you will, was like she had a cell phone to the heavens. It was so clear, the information was so right on, and so specific to my life and my relationship with my former wife, Nancy.
And she was right, and she was accurate, and she was real. And it just, you sort of want to sit up tall and go, I told you so. I'm not going to claim anything, but I told you so.
It was just staggering and beautiful.
She's extraordinary.
Amazing.
I was blown away.
She helped us more than she knows. I get emotional about it, but she helped us more than she knows.